Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Today is Thursday, and today's beautiful Thursday. We're going to be doing King of Wrath today, chapters 15 and 16. Woo! The book has been heating up, and I don't mean the temperature. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. But I'm excited to get into the rest of this book, see what this book's got in store for us. I thought last week they was gonna fuck. I was like, it's going down, but maybe it's this week. I don't know. We'll see. But we do have a thread for you guys before we hop into today's book. Today's thread is, ladies, what did you not know about men until you started living with one? All right, so let's see what things women start to notice once they start living with a guy. All right. And if you are a lady and you have one pertaining to this thread, definitely put it down in the comments. All right, let's get into it. All right, ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? The not sitting down to eat, just eating out of packets, boxes in the kitchen like a raccoon. I laugh because I do that. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Sometimes I don't want to make a plate. Sometimes I don't know it, because, okay, as guys, we try to do things as efficiently as possible. And so we look at it like, okay, I want these Cheez-Its. But if I put some Cheez-Its in a bowl and then I go sit down and get comfortable and then I kill these Cheez-Its in like 2 seconds, then I'm going to want some more Cheez-Its. But what if I look at it like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead, instead of putting them in a bowl, what if I take the box and then I go sit down and get comfortable and then I don't really want all these Cheez-Its. So now I'm like, okay, fuck, I got to go put it back. So we just look at it like, man, I'm going to just eat as much as I can and can stomach for right now. And then I'll go and sit on the couch, and that way there's nothing that is going to make me want to get up. I don't know. That's just me. That's my thought process on it. Because like I said, I hate getting food and getting it all ready. And then I go sit down and I get comfortable and then I eat it all. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm still hungry. But I don't know. Hey, man, you leave us raccoons alone, okay? Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? That men will wear the same favorite shirt until it literally falls apart, no matter how many new ones they own. Hey, look, man. Hey, when we're at home, it don't matter what we wear, you know? And sometimes you have just that one shirt that's the ye old reliable, and it works. It works, bro. You be at home. That's how I look at it anyway. I don't really have like a favorite, I'm the type of person where, I have like pairs of shorts and stuff that I'll wear for just days on end. And I just like, if I'm off work, you know what I mean? Or even if I'm like, if I gone to work and then I come back, or if I go somewhere and then I come back, it's a simple thing of like, I'll be wearing these shorts and then I'll take them off because I got to change for work and stuff like that. Then I'll come back and I'll get right back in those same pair of shorts. It's just convenience, man. It's the convenience of it. Instead, like, I know girls, you guys have your little like home outfits and jammies and all that. Nah, man, us dudes, we look at it like when something works, we ain't trying to find anything else. It's just too much. All right, ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? They eat so much more. No snacks are safe at home. Yeah, kind of facts. I ain't gonna lie to you, because, man, like, there are some days, okay, like, especially on the days that I stream. On the days that I stream, I'll sleep, right? I'll sleep until, like, the afternoon, because I don't have work, and everything's all good. So I'll sleep until, like, the afternoon. I'll go make some breakfast, and yes, I'm having breakfast in, like, the afternoon. Like, we're talking 2, 3 in the afternoon type shit. I'm having breakfast. And then I'll stream with you guys. And then once I get off stream, I'll tend to stay up pretty late, sometimes into the morning just because I was sleeping all morning. And so, I'm just up all night and I find myself to just be hungry all the time. Man, like I'll go in there, I'll get me some fruit and then I'll be like, man, I'm still hungry. I'll get some chips and then I'm like, man, I'm still hungry. I'll make some noodles. And you know what I mean? Oh, bro. Yeah, it's all bad. And then it's one of those things where it's like we're not even craving anything. We're just hungry. We're just hungry. That's all it is. We're not craving anything. There's nothing specific that we want. We're just hungry. Facts. Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? How quiet they can be. Facts. And this goes into that whole thing about, where women are like, oh, what's wrong, when a guy is super quiet. And if I'm being honest with you, when your dude is quiet, all that means is he just ain't thinking about a goddamn thing. It's like when you look at a picture of an animal and you're just like, dang, there's not a brain cell in there. That is dudes sometimes. Us dudes, we have this amazing like superpower to just be able to turn our brain off. We can just like doop, and we ain't got to worry about nothing. We ain't got to think about nothing. There's nothing going on. We're in a zen moment. And not all the time, do we do it. Because like for me, I'm able to turn my brain off when I play video games. Like when I play video games, I just turn my brain off. I am completely silent and I just play. And I just, I'm just in it. For some guys, it's watching TV. For some guys, it's doing their hobby. Like a lot of guys, we love those moments where we can just turn our brain off because so much is expected of, especially, when you have a significant other. Like even more so are things expected of you and stuff like that. So when we have that moment where it's like, I don't got to think about work. I don't have to think about my significant other. I don't have to think about the house. I don't have to think about bills. I don't have to think about, making money and doing this and all that. I can just shut my brain off. Oh, it's the most fantastic feeling in the world. And then you guys come out of nowhere and you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And you're like, bro, nothing. Like, let me just turn my brain off and just leave me alone for a little bit. You know what I mean? God damn. All right, ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived one? Maybe it's just my husband, but I've never seen anyone buy so many socks. Constant need for socks, too many socks. And you want to know why that is because most dudes, and I say most dudes because every guy that I've asked this question has agreed with me that we lose a sock, right? Okay, it may be the laundry, it may have just gotten lost, we don't know where it's at, whatever it may be. We lose a sock, right? We can't just pair a sock with that sock. Like girls, you guys mismatch socks all the time and people don't notice and stuff like that. I notice. I'll be watching you. But, girls mismatch socks all the time. Guys, we don't do that. I don't know why. Like I said, I've asked many of men and they're just like, yeah, no, once I lose one sock, it's unwearable now. I gotta get a new pair of socks. Or I gotta, wear a different pair of socks because, they have to have their pair. You know what I mean? And I don't know why dudes are weird like that, but we just are. And it's funny because, I can imagine some dudes right now are just like, no, I don't do that. No, not at all. You do. You just don't know that you do it. And that's the craziest part about it, is that you do know, but you don't know that you know. And that's what's wild too, because like for me, for the longest time, I didn't know that I did that. And then I don't know if it was my mom or it was my ex that pointed it out, but somebody had pointed it out to me and I was just like, no, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, if you lose one of your socks, you won't wear the other ones. And I'm just like, huh. Okay, I didn't know I did that. And I started asking my friends. I was like, yo, hey, if you lose a sock, like, would you just then like take another sock and just pair with that one? And they're just like, no, what? Why? I would just get a different pair of socks. You see what I mean? And then you're like, oh shit. So yeah, bro. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know why we do it, but us guys do it. Not every guy, of course, but I would argue majority of dudes do it. They just don't realize that they do it. Call your boyfriend out on it. Swear to God, he'll sit there and probably just be like, huh, you know what? Holy shit, I do that. Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? When a man takes a bath, his wiener floats just a little bit. What the hell? Oh my God. Okay, I guess. I mean, look, I'm the type of guy, yeah, I'll take a bubble bath every once in a while. You know what I mean? But I've never like looked at my wiener to see if it floats. That is so funny. Oh my God. She must have just like walked in on her dude, you know what I mean? In a bath and was just like, hey babe, where is this? Da da da. And he's like, oh, it's here. And she's like, huh, your wiener's floating. That's crazy, bruh. What the heck? Oh, man. That's funny. Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? I didn't realize how much men actually value their alone time, sometimes more than you'd expect, even when living together. Yeah, facts. Yes, ladies, we don't always want to hang out with you even though we're living together. You know what I mean? It's why man caves exist. It's why, dude-only spaces in the house exist and shit like that. I'm telling you, man, it's why this shit exists. Like, women think that this is just some magical phenomenon. Like, no, bro. No, it's a thing where it's like, I want you to just get out of my face for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, girl. Like, get out of my face for a little bit. Let me, like that one girl said, that they can just, how quiet they can be. That's us just shutting our brain off, man. Shutting our brain off. We don't have to worry about you. We don't got to worry about the house. We ain't got to worry about, bills. We ain't got to worry about work. We ain't got to worry about nothing. We ain't got to worry about nothing. Because, obviously for a guy, they hold the brunt of everything that's going on, responsibilities and all that shit. And so, it weighs down on you a little bit. And so when you kind of get that moment to yourself to kind of just like relax and chill and you ain't got to think about somebody else, it's so nice. Oh, it's the best feeling in the world, man. All right. Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? How much truth was in the joke that they can't find anything in the fridge and cupboards? All right. The allegations need to be beat, man, okay? It's because you move it, okay? See, men are very simple creatures. And we look at our things as everything has a place and everything should be in its place. And when everything has a place and it's in its place, guess what? We can find it. We can find it. I'm telling you, ladies, if your man has like a very cluttered desk or he has a very cluttered part of the house or whatever the case may be, I guarantee you it's like that for a reason. Because he can find what he needs when he needs to find it. I'm telling you that I am the same way. You know what I mean? Like, my mom always told me, she's like, oh my God, your room is not dirty, but it's cluttered. And I'm like, yeah, but I can find what I need when I need it. Because everything is in its place, or everything has a place and it's in its place. But see, once you guys start moving shit, then that's when we can't find nothing. When the mustard was in the door, it was always in the door. All right? and then you go and move it and you put it on the top shelf. Well, we don't know where it's at. I'm used to opening the fridge and it's in the door. But it's not in the door, so I'm going to ask you, babe, where's the mustard? I don't see the mustard. And you're like, oh, it's in the refrigerator. I don't see it in the refrigerator. And then you come and then you grab it off the top shelf because you put it there. And I'm like, it wasn't in the door. All right? Wasn't in the door. We got to beat those allegations, all right? It's because of you, the whammons, be moving the shit. Man. Hope that beats the allegations, all right? If your wife moves things or your girlfriend moves things, send her my way. I'll yell at her. Don't worry. I got you. I got you guys. All right, ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? I didn't know that their balls really do move up and down on their own due to temperature. Taking a hot bath with my husband, he got out first, and suddenly I realized his balls were moving up and down several inches. I was mystified and asked him how he was doing that. The shock when he told me he wasn't, and then suddenly high school sex ed came rushing back. I didn't realize that moved so much or so fast. I figured it would happen over the course of like 5-10 minutes, but those fuckers were going wild, bobbing up and down like every 10 seconds. Oh my God, bro. Oh, Jesus. Oh, you ladies are crazy, man. Oh my goodness. You guys are insane. Oh, jeez. Yes. The balls do go up and down due to the temperature. Yes, that does happen. In the summertime, they hang low. In the wintertime, they're tucked up tight. You know what I mean? Why do they do that? I have no fucking clue. I'm sure you can Google it, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I have no clue on why that happens. That is funny though. How she was literally just staring at her man's balls and they were just like whoop 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 whoop. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay. Okay, ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? How easy physical tasks like carrying things are for them compared to women. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we are stronger than you guys in every single physical metric. So, I mean, yeah. You know, I mean, it's why since the dawn of time, you know, dudes doing like manual labor has kind of been hot to women, you know, and it's funny because I was listening to this like psychologist, right? And he was talking about, you know, why construction workers whistle at women. And it's because back like in early times, I forgot when he said it was, but like back in early times, think about like Western days and shit like that, probably 1800s if I'm being honest with you. But men building things were always swooned upon from women. And so, you know, a man building a house and all that kind of stuff, women would stop and watch that man build the house and watch him do it because that was attractive. That was sexy. That was a thing. And now, not so much, obviously, now that we're a more, you know, civilization and people and stuff like that. Construction workers are kind of looked down upon a little bit when it comes to women and their dating preferences and stuff like that. And so, you know, it's one of those things where it was kind of like men still think that the construction profession is attractive to women, and it's why they catcall and stuff, when obviously women are the ones that kind of have changed over the time, and obviously their attractions have changed. Of course, I mean, you know, you still have the whole like women finding lumberjacks and like cowboys and all that kind of stuff, you know, and farm guys. They're a little more still attractive to some capacity, you know what I mean? But it's always a thing where, back in the day, that used to be like an attraction trigger for women. Obviously not so anymore, but that's why the whole taking on physical labor kind of thing became a thing for a lot of guys, because it was to get women. You know what I mean? It was, like a dude learned how to build a house because it was attractive to women. A dude learned how to, chop wood because it was attractive to women. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of women like to, say that they don't do things for guys. You know what I mean? And obviously I believe,
Stop the cap.
Like, come on now. Yeah, you do. But you just don't like to admit it. I mean, guys, we're a little more open about it. We're like, yeah, we do this shit for the women's. We don't do this shit for no dudes. We don't do this for ourselves. Nah, I do this to get me some vagina. You know what I mean? Come on now. But yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought that was a interesting correlation. All right, ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? How much they eat, how much it costs to feed them, and said gargantuan amount they eat. Yeah, Hey, and it is what it is, you know what I mean? Gotta feed them. Especially if, you live with a guy who, works out, goes to the gym, he's a bigger guy, yeah. Hold on. Okay. Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? He's never cold. I always have cold feet even when it's warm outside. He serves as a hot water bottle. Oh my God. It's funny because what I've noticed, and I'm sure this girl, and I'm sure other girls, they probably date dudes, who go to the gym. They have high muscle mass. It's funny because my best friend, right, all through like high school and like our early 20s and stuff, I always wondered, like he's always been an athlete, he's always had high muscle contents and stuff like that. And so, there'd be times where I'd be sitting next to him and dude's just radiating fucking heat. And I'm like, God damn, dude, you're like a heater. And it wasn't until like my mid 20s, maybe late 20s, I started picking up, going to the gym and working out and, doing strength training and all that kind of stuff. And I started building more muscle. And then I started to realize like, oh shit, like it's having high muscle mass actually increases your body heat. And I did not know that. I did not know that correlation. And then he had told me, he was like, yeah, you didn't know that? He's like, that's why, I'm like a fucking heater when I sit next to you. And I'm like, oh shit. I did not know that. So yeah, if you do have a guy and he has, a high muscle content, he doesn't have much fat on him, whether he's like big bulk and buff or he's more of a slim fit dude. Yeah. They're going to tend to be a lot more warmer. Yeah. Crazy enough, that was something I was like, it just kind of blew my mind in some way. I was like, huh. But the women's love it because they're always cold. You know what I mean? So, hey, it's a win-win, baby. All right, this is gonna be our last one for this thread, and then we'll hop into announcements and then into our book. Ladies, what did you not know about men until you lived with one? Men get random boners, and have a boner doesn't mean that he's turned on. Facts. Yes. Random boners don't go away just because we are no longer teenagers. They will stay for the rest of time. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like guys are very visual, right? And so most guys, their memory can be just triggered by them looking at something. So, they're just kind of like doing their thing. They're in the garage or whatever. And then out of nowhere, they kind of see something, I don't know, that may look like your butt. You know what I mean? It could be like a metal piece or something like that. And it kind of looks at you, like your butt a little bit. And then automatically their brain is just like, oh, hold on. Here we go. Wife bending over, bam, and it's like the forefront in your brain, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? And you don't even realize it, and all the blood is just, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, okay, penis is hard, cool, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep working on what I'm working on. It'll go away when it goes away. You know what I mean? And that's the life of being a guy, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, and for single guys, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you know, you remember that picture you saw on Facebook? Yeah, bam! Or that thing you saw on Instagram? Bam! And we're just like, oh, yep, I do remember that. My penis is hard and I'm in the DMV. This is fantastic. I'm just saying, like, that's just how dudes' brains work, you know what I mean? And it's not even a thing that we're, like, trying to remember this, or we're not even trying to think about it. It's just our brain is just like, oh, hey, check this out. Boom. And we're just like, oh, yeah, that picture of those titties, that's fantastic. Wow. I am at grandma's house right now. Jeez. You know, and you're just like, well, hey, that's it. That is what it is, being a dude. So, yeah, man, random boners don't go away just because we stop being teenagers, you know? Like, your guy could be fucking 30, 40, you know, maybe 50, you know, and his dick just randomly gets hard. Like it's not going to ever go away. Like, random boners are just don't stop. It's not a maturity thing. It's just our body. You know, the testosterone just kicks in. Your brain is just like, hey, yo, hold on, look at this. And we're just like, yep, I remember that. You know, hey, it just happens, bro. Just happens. It sucks. But yes, ladies, and the random boners don't go away just because he stops being a teenager. They just don't, you know. But that is going to go ahead and be the end of that thread. Hope you guys enjoyed that thread. Hope you guys learned something. I know I did. I learned a little bit. You know, you ladies be a little more observant than you should be, if I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? Goodness gracious. So, hey, if you have a something to contribute to the thread, you know what I mean, there's a little thing you noticed about your guy once you start living with him or whatever, a little weird thing that guys do, definitely put it down in the comments. Let your boy know, all right? So we're going to hop into announcements. We're going to get right into our 2 chapters of A King of Wrath. So, patreon.com/My The Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show. All right. If you are a 7-day free trial member or a full paid member, you can listen to all of the Patreon content on Spotify. All right. We do have that available for you guys. I know a lot of you guys like to watch on Spotify. Sorry for you Apple Podcast people. They don't really have that kind of integration. So you would have to kind of move over to Spotify. But, yeah, we do have that for you guys. So if you guys are on the fence about it, you're like, I only really listen to the podcast, you know, on my way to work or my way home or, you know, while I'm at work bored or whatever the case may be, you can listen to the Patreon episodes in their entirety, all the complete episodes on Spotify, as long as you're a 7-day free trial member or you are a full paid member. Okay, so Spotify and Apple Podcast listeners, thank you guys so much for all the support. I appreciate you guys so very much for coming back week after week, checking out the episodes, hanging out, having a good time. I do appreciate that so very much. I'm so glad to see you guys from all over the world downloading the episodes, enjoying the episodes, and coming back week after week. I do appreciate that so very much. Thank you guys so much. So keep downloading, rate us 5 stars on your preferred platform, and yeah, it's all free, baby. And if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. All of that is free. All of it's in the description, and all of it helps. Thank you guys so much. If you like live streams and you want to catch us live, we live stream every Friday, Sunday, and Monday. All right. I live stream on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. I like to live stream everywhere for you guys to make sure that wherever you guys want to catch a stream, you guys can catch a stream. Okay. So I do appreciate all of the support. Definitely join the Discord, talk to us down there. We got a cool little community of people where we just chat and talk about shit, and it'll let you know when we upload things as well as when I go live. So definitely check all that out. All that is down in the description. Without further ado, let's get into King of Wrath. Okay, let's do it.
Chapter 15. Dante. This better be important. I put my phone on speaker and shrugged off my jacket. This is the first damn break I've had since I landed. My trip to San Francisco had been a whirlwind of meetings, photo ops, and dealing with people whose heads were so far up their asses they'd require surgery to see daylight. I'd barely slept in the past 48 hours, but we were finally closing the deal with Franco Santeri in 2 hours. Until then, I wanted to shower, eat, and if I was lucky, grab some shut-eye for 5 minutes. It is. There was an attempted robbery at the Lohman & Sons flagship store in New York. Giulio, my head of corporate security in North America, cut straight to the chase. He was one of Christian's men, but he'd worked for me for so long he answered directly to me instead of Christian. We apprehended the perpetrators before they escaped. They're currently in our custody. Was anyone hurt? One of the security guards was knocked unconscious and has a concussion. Other than that, no, sir. Good. Take care of it the way we usually do. Make it clean. There hadn't been an attempted robbery of a Russo Group property in 2 years, but fools were born every day. I kept to the right side of the law when it came to finances and boardroom dealings, but when it came to people who tried to steal from me, I had no qualms about making an example out of them. Shattered bones and blood, they were a universally understood language. Of course, Giulio said. But, that's not all. I checked the time, my patience running thin after a 3-hour bullshit meeting on projections that could have been an email. Get to the point, Giulio. There was a short pause before he said, Your fiancé was in the store at the time of the attempted robbery. My hand stilled on the clasp of my watch. Vivian was in the store. Yes, sir, she was shopping and happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Blood roared in my ears, and a sick feeling formed in the pit of my stomach. How is she? She's shaken up. One of the robbers held her at gunpoint when she was too slow getting on the ground, but our men neutralized the situation before she was hurt. Giulio coughed. Your brother was there as well. He was on shift today, and he was the one who secretly called for backup. All our employees at high-risk locations like jewelry stores wore custom watches with disguised panic buttons. It had been Christian's idea. Criminals expected panic buttons under a desk or near the register. They didn't expect it on a watch, which was both discreet and easier to access. But I wasn't thinking about the effectiveness of our security protocol right now. One of the robbers held her at gunpoint. Blackness snuffed out my vision. When it returned a split second later, rage drenched the room in crimson. Where are they now? My voice was tight, controlled, at complete odds with the bloody images of retribution playing out in my mind. Miss Vivian is at the penthouse and Mr. Luca is at his home in Greenwich Village. My jaw ticked. My brother was like Teflon when it came to life and death situations. He once got mugged in L.A., took a nap, and spent the same night partying it up with half of young Hollywood. Vivian, on the other hand. The sick feeling spread, clawing at my insides like it was seeking escape. I'll have the full report in your inbox within the next hour, Giulio said. Is there anything else you need from me at this time? The one who held Vivian at gunpoint? Leave him for me. Another pause. Of course. I hung up, my earlier exhaustion and hunger hardening into a ball of restless energy. I really fucking wish there was a boxing ring at the hotel. If I didn't release the anger choking me, I would implode. An image of Vivian's face surfaced in my mind. Pale skin, dark eyes wide with fear, bright red blood staining her clothes. If backup hadn't arrived on time... My gut twisted into a painful knot. She was safe. Giulio wouldn't lie about that. But until I saw her myself... I paced the room and scrubbed a hand over my face. I'd spent the past year putting the Santeri deal together. I couldn't fuck it up. Plus, I was flying home tomorrow morning anyway. Half a day wouldn't make a difference. Vivian was at home. She was fine. My pacing continued. The clock ticked toward the quarter of the hour. Damn it. A string of curses flew past my lips as I grabbed my jacket with one hand and dialed my assistant with the other on my way out the door. There's an emergency in New York. Call the Santeri team and have them meet me in the hotel conference room in 30 minutes. Tell them the rest of their stay is on the Russo group and send Franco the limited edition Lohman & Sons watch as an apology, the one that's not coming out until next year. The CEO of Santeri Wines was a notorious horophile who collected $40,000 timepieces the way kids collected baseball cards. Helena didn't miss a beat.
Consider it done.
Franco had an ego bigger than his Napa Valley ranch. He was pissed about the last-minute summons, as expected, but the apology gifts mollified him enough for him to sign the acquisition deal without much complaint. Santeri Wines, one of the most valuable wine brands on the market, was officially a Russo Group subsidiary. Instead of celebrating, I said my goodbyes and cut a straight path from the conference room to the car waiting outside. "Where to, sir?" the driver asked. SFO. San Francisco Airport. I'd left without my luggage, but Helena would take care of that for me. I need to return to New York immediately.
Vivian. I couldn't stop shivering. I stepped out of the bathroom, my skin ice cold despite my bathrobe, the heated floors, and the hot bath I'd soaked in for the past hour. It was late evening, hours after the attempted Lohman & Sons robbery, but I was still stuck on the showroom floor with a gun under my chin and evil staring back at me. The entire incident had lasted less than 10 minutes before backup security arrived and neutralized the situation. No one got hurt, but I couldn't stop thinking about what-ifs. What if backup had arrived a minute too late? What if the robber had shot first and asked questions later? What if I died? What would I have to show for it except a closet full of nice clothes and a life spent doing the right thing? I would have died without visiting the Atacama Desert for stargazing, or falling in love more than once. Things I'd always thought I would have time to do because I was only in my late 20s, damn it, and I was supposed to be invincible at this age. The faint slam of the front door saved me from my thoughts, but my heart skittered with trepidation. Who was here? Dante wouldn't be home until tomorrow, and the staff was already indoors. Even if they weren't, they wouldn't slam the door like that. My trepidation heightened when the sound of footsteps grew louder and the door to my bedroom flung open. I grabbed a vase off my dresser, ready to throw it at the intruder, until I registered the dark hair and hard, unforgiving face. Dante? My heart gradually slowed as I set the vase down. You're not supposed to be back until tomorrow. What are... I didn't get the chance to finish my sentence before he crossed the room in 2 long strides and gripped my arms.
Are you hurt?
He demanded. He scanned me from head to toe, his expression tight. What? The robbery? Of course. He was the CEO. Someone must have told him what happened. I'm fine. A little shaken, but fine. I forced a smile. You're supposed to be in California until tomorrow. What are you doing home early?
There was an attempted robbery at one of my flagship stores, Vivian.
A muscle worked in his jaw.
Of course I came back right away.
But the Santeri deal
Is closed.
His iron grip remained on my arms, strong yet gentle. Oh, I couldn't think of anything else to say. The day had been surreal, made all the more surreal by Dante's sudden appearance. It was only then that I noticed his rumpled shirt and tousled hair, like he'd been running his fingers through it. For some reason, the visual made my eyes blur with tears. It was too human, too normal for a day like today. Dante's fingers tightened around me.
Be honest, Vivian.
He said, the words somehow both comforting and commanding.
Are you okay?
Not, are you hurt, but are you okay? 2 different questions. Pressure built inside me, but I nodded. His eyes were a dark storm, his face etched with lines of anger and panic. At my response, skepticism joined the mix, soft but visible.
He held you at gunpoint.
He said, his voice lower, tauter, promising retribution. The pressure pushed against my eardrums, an invisible force dragging me deep beneath a turbulent ocean. My smile wobbled. Yes, not the... I eased a deep breath past my tightening lungs. Don't cry. Not the highlight of my week, I must admit. Dante's body vibrated with tension. It lined his jaw and coiled beneath his skin, like a viper waiting to strike.
Did he do anything else?
I shook my head. Oxygen thinned by the second, making each word difficult. But I pushed forward. Security got there before anyone was hurt. I'm okay. Really. The last word pitched higher than the rest. The muscle in his jaw ticked again.
You're shaking.
Was I? I checked. Yes, I was. Tiny trembles rippled through my body. My knees quaked. Goosebumps peppered my arms. If it weren't for the warmth and strength of Dante's hold, I might have collapsed on the floor. I noted these things with detachment, like I was watching myself in a film I wasn't particularly invested in. It's the cold, I said. I didn't know who turned on the air conditioning in November, but my room was a meat locker. Dante stroked my skin with his thumb. Concern pooled in his eyes.
The heat is on, mia cara,
He said softly. The pressure expanded to my throat. Well, then it must be broken. I rambled on, my string of useless words the only thread holding me together. You should get it fixed. I'm sure you could get someone here soon. Something wet trickled down my cheeks. You're Dante Russo. You can... I couldn't breathe properly. Air. I need air. You can do anything. My voice cracked. One crack. That was all it took. The thread snapped, and I broke down, sobs racking my body as the emotion and trauma of the day overwhelmed me. The high of the Legacy Ball news followed by the terror of the robbery. The thud of heavy boots against the marble floors in that cold, stark room. The metal against my skin and the unshakable sense that if I died today, I'd do so without ever having lived. Not as Vivian Lau. Not as me. Dante's arms wrapped around me. He didn't speak, but his embrace was so strong and reassuring it erased any self-consciousness I might have had. The turbulent waters closed overhead, drowning out the light. They tossed me back and forth until my body shook from the force of my cries. My stomach hurt, my eyes ached, and my throat was so raw it hurt to breathe. And still, Dante held me. I pressed my face against his chest, my shoulders heaving while he rubbed a hand over my back. He murmured something in Italian, but I couldn't decipher what he said. All I knew was, in the icy aftermath of the robbery, his voice and embrace were the only things keeping me warm.
Chapter 16. Dante. You got blood on my shirt, Brax. I rolled up my sleeves, hiding the blood stain in question. That's the third strike. He glared at me, his expression mutinous beneath the blood and bruises. He was tied to a chair, his arms and legs bound with rope. He was the only one of his accomplices still conscious. The other two slumped in their seats, their heads lolling and their blood hitting the floor in a steady drip, drip, drip. Several of their limbs bent at unnatural angles. You talk too much. Brax spat out a mouthful of dark red liquid. Brax Miller, ex-con with a mile-long rap sheet, balls of steel, and a brain the size of a walnut. I smiled, then hit him again. His head snapped back, and a pained groan filled the air. My bruised knuckles stung. The room, jokingly dubbed the holding cell in my private security headquarters, smelled like copper, sweat, and the thick, cloying scent of fear. It was 2 days after the attempted robbery at Lohman & Sons, longer than we'd ever held someone. My police contacts turned a blind eye to my activities because I saved them time and manpower, and I knew when to draw the line. I'd never killed someone. Yet. But I was really fucking tempted right now. The first hour was for trying to rob one of my stores. The second, I held out my hand. Julio placed something cold and heavy in my palm, his face impassive. Is for threatening my wife. My fist closed around the weapon. I normally let my team handle these unpleasantries, robbery, vandalism, disrespect. They were unacceptable but impersonal. Nothing more than crimes to be punished and examples to be set in the most brutal and therefore effective manner possible. They didn't require my personal attention, but this, what Brax did to Vivian, this was fucking personal. A fresh tsunami of rage rolled through me when I pictured the piece of shit in front of me, pointing a gun at her. She wasn't my wife yet, but she was mine. No one threatened what was mine. "So she's your wife?" Brax coughed, his bravado dented but intact. "I understand why you're upset. She's beautiful, though she would have been much more beautiful with blood painting that pretty skin of hers." His grin was made of mockery and crimson, too stupid to realize his mistake. Like I said, a brain the size of a walnut. I put on my brass knuckles, walked over, and yanked his pathetic head back. I'm not the one who talks too much. A second later, a howl of agony ripped through the air. It did nothing to ease the wrath inside me, and I didn't stop until the howl stopped altogether. I left my men to clean up the mess in the holding cell. I'd come close to killing Brax, but the bastard lived, barely. Tomorrow, he and his accomplices would turn themselves into the police. It was a much more appealing alternative than staying with my team. The apartment smelled like soup and roasted chicken when I returned home. Greta had been fussing over Vivian since the robbery, which in her world meant plying Vivian with enough food to feed all of Midtown Manhattan during lunch hour. I barely noticed the stinging hot water as I showered off the blood and sweat. Vivian insisted she was fine, but few people recovered from having a gun pressed to their head that quickly. According to Greta, she was currently taking a nap, and she never napped this late in the day. Or ever, now that I thought about it. I turned off the water, my thoughts as clouded as the steamed-up mirror. I'd done my part. I'd punished the perpetrators, personally attended to Brax, and checked on Luca during my ride home from Security HQ. He'd bounced back as quickly as I'd expected. The man sailed through life like a Teflon ship. But he wasn't the one who'd had a gun in his face. Damn it. With a low growl of annoyance, I toweled off, changed into fresh clothes, and headed into the kitchen, where I convinced Greta to part with a bowl of her precious soup.
"You'll spoil dinner,"
she warned. It's not for me. A frown pinched her lips before realization dawned, and her disapproval relaxed into a downright delighted smile.
"Ah, in that case, take as much soup as you need. Here."
She shoved a plate of sourdough bread and butter at me.
"Take these, too."
What happened to spoiling dinner? I grumbled, but I took the damn bread. I made it to Vivian's door when I second-guessed my decision. Should I wake her up from her nap? Greta said she'd worked from home today and hadn't eaten lunch, but maybe she needed the rest. Or she could have already woken up and was counting her diamonds or whatever the hell jewelry heiresses did in their free time. Should I knock or leave and come back? I didn't get a chance to decide before Vivian decided for me. The door swung open, revealing sleepy dark eyes that widened in panic when she saw me. She screamed, causing me to startle and nearly drop the soup. Fuck! I caught myself in the nick of time, but a few drops of hot liquid splashed over the side of the bowl and onto my arm.
Dante! God!
Vivian pressed a palm over her heaving chest.
You scared me.
I was just about to knock, I half lied. Her attention drifted to the food in my hands. She looked adorably sleep-rumpled with her tousled hair and a pillow crease on her cheek. Even with no makeup, her skin was flawless, and the faintest scent of apples turned the edges of my mind hazy.
You brought me food?
Her face softened in a way that worsened the haze. No, yes, I said, unable to decide whether to admit to checking up on her. I could tell her it was Greta's idea. Bringing her chicken soup of my own accord seemed dangerously intimate, like something a real fiancé would do. Vivian gave me a strange look. Christ, Russo, get it together. An hour ago, I was beating the hell out of a 6'2" criminal. Now I was incoherent over fucking soup and bread. Greta said you didn't eat lunch. Figured you might be hungry. I went for the vaguest answer possible.
Thank you. That's so thoughtful.
Vivian said, still with that soft expression doing strange things to my mind. Her fingers brushed mine when she took the bowl and plate. A tiny current of electricity sizzled over my skin. My body tightened with the effort of containing a physical reaction, a surprise jolt, a more deliberate brush of our hands. Vivian paused like she felt it too before hurriedly continuing.
It's perfect timing because I was going to grab a snack. My call with the Legacy Ball committee ran over and I forgot to eat lunch.
She told me earlier she was hostessing this year's ball. It was a big deal, and I couldn't stop a glimmer of pride from sparking in my chest. That's going well, then?
As well as anything with a 300-page handbook can go.
She joked. Silence fell. I should leave now that I'd given her her food and confirmed she was functioning just fine, but a strange tug at my chest prevented me from leaving. I blamed the cursed haze in my mind for what I said next. If you want company, I was planning to grab a snack too. Not hungry enough for a full dinner. Surprise slid across Vivian's face, followed by a hint of pleasure.
Sure. East sitting room in 5?
I gave a curt nod. Luckily, Greta wasn't in the kitchen when I returned. I grabbed another bowl of soup and joined Vivian in the east sitting room. The chicken broth was rich and hearty enough to comprise a full meal on its own. We ate in silence for a while until Vivian spoke again.
How's Luca? After, you know.
He's fine. He's been through worse. Though I should check on him again just in case. He once got mugged by a monkey in Bali, almost died trying to get his phone back. Vivian spluttered out a laugh.
Excuse me?
It's true. My mouth curved, both at the memory of my brother's indignation over the crime and at her smile. Obviously, he got out okay, but some of those temple monkeys are ruthless.
I'll keep that in mind for our trip.
We were leaving for Bali in 3 weeks to see my parents for Thanksgiving. I was already dreading it, but I pushed that aside for now. And you? I dropped all pretense and fixed my gaze on Vivian. How are you doing? Vivian's amusement disappeared in the wake of my question. The air shifted and condensed, squeezing out the earlier lightheartedness.
I'm okay.
She said quietly.
I'm having some trouble sleeping, hence the naps. But it's more shock than anything. I wasn't hurt. I'll get over it.
Maybe she was right. She was much calmer now than the first night, but a niggling thread of concern still unraveled in my stomach. If you want to talk to someone, the company has people on hand, I said gruffly. Our contracted therapists were some of the top practitioners in the city. Just let me know.
Thank you.
Her smile returned, softer this time,
For the other night. And for this.
She nodded at the half-empty bowls between us. You're welcome, I said stiffly, unsure how to handle whatever the hell was happening here. I had no frame of reference for the strange fog clouding my brain or the twinge in my chest when I looked at her. It wasn't wrath, like with Brax. It wasn't hatred, like with Francis. It wasn't lust or dislike or any of the other emotions that had shaped my previous interactions with Vivian. I didn't know what it was, but it unsettled the hell out of me.
All right. And that is going to conclude today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I will see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the free Patreon Day episode. All right. So, yes, I'll see you tomorrow for the free Patreon Day episode. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on stream as well. And love you guys all. Hope you have a wonderful day and peace.